bringing the offline and the online methods together in this work package.
Is what makes our methodology unique and innovative.
Historical transformation is a heritage value. We believe that the deep historic continuity in the city can and should link to its needs for multiple changes, ensuring that these changes are made by and for the people. That's why it's essential to understand the values people attach to the deep city, focusing not only on what we can see, but also on what we can feel, discover, uncover, and not see but experience. This is the Deep Cities Toolbox.
WP3 used a unique mixed methodology to assess the ways in which different people value urban environment.
By values, we mean social values of these places today for present-day communities. The importance might be in terms of a whole range of things, like for their meanings to these communities, to their sense of place, to their identities, and also to how they use these places today and how these places sit within their everyday lives. So that's the importance or the worth that these communities attach to heritage places or specific heritage sites.
And in particular, we combined text analysis, quantitative and qualitative methods of analysis to understand the ways in which people interact with urban spaces offline and online, looking at social media data. We trialed this methodology extensively from May to September 2021 with a team of researchers who worked with us. We chose Canongate and Woolwich because two case studies within these areas allowed us to look at urban transformations in rapidly changing environments in London and Edinburgh, two European cities. In Edinburgh, we focused particularly on the site that was once occupied by the old gasworks. It was built at the beginning of the 1800s and progressively expanded. It encroached into the space that was occupied by the Magdalen Asylum. At the beginning of the 1900s, the old gasworks is abandoned, and from that point on the site is used for very different purposes. A football pitch, a bus depot, a car park. It's been included in the International Fringe Festival.
Woolwich is an area in southeast London on the south bank of the River Thames, and we specifically focused on the gatehouse to Royal Arsenal. The arsenal goes back actually to the late 17th century, so it has a relatively deep history over 2 or 3 centuries. And this is a place where explosives and weapons of war have been stored and also manufactured. In the post-war era, it was closed and has in the last 10 to 20 years been a place for heritage-led regeneration in an urban context. In the context of this regeneration, it's been the focus for conservation of the historic arsenal buildings, but also their conversion for quite high-end domestic dwellings. Outside of this housing development, actually the original gate to the arsenal, it's no longer connected to the walls of this place. There was a plan actually to demolish it, but in the end, a main road was kind of rerouted around the back of it, and they demolished the bits of the wall that joined to it, so it's no longer joined to the rest of the arsenal. It just sits as a little gate on its own in this public square, Beresford Square, which is a very busy social space. There's a lively market in the square, there's lots of pubs and shops, and it's a meeting place for people.
We used a combination of different born digital and digitized methods to understand how people experienced the urban environments of our case studies online. First, we conducted a survey to understand the key social media sites where people voiced their opinions and assigned values to these urban environments. We selected the social media sites of
Flickr,
Reddit,
and Twitter,
YouTube,
Facebook, and so forth.
A After that survey, we could text mining or on-platform qualitative analysis in order to assess heritage values. We then also launched an online survey, which was really instrumental to get more information about the context of use of each of these social media spaces in relation to the experiencing of urban environments. And finally, thanks to crowdsourcing, we could collect in-depth information, stories about the ways in which different people lived the urban space.
The offline methods involve face-to-face research with people. Generally speaking, the methods we used are qualitative methods, and by qualitative, I mean they're non-numerical. These kind of qualitative methods, well, the ones that we used a mixture. Interview methods provided the kind of foundation of the methods that we used. These could be quite structured, short interviews with maybe 10 questions. But then we also use, and these are really important, more semi-structured conversational interviews as methods that might last for an hour or 2 hours long. These interviews are really important for in-depth understanding, because I can take you deeper into what does this particular thing mean to you. We combine these interview methods then also with observation of what are people doing in this place, how are they using it, and we try to also think about the sensory qualities of a place. Maybe you even have a group interview, like a focus group, like the participatory mapping, where you'll have a map of a place and maybe some imagery of it as well. And people will be invited to identify specific places on the map and to associate them with particular meanings or stories or memories. So you see the dynamic and you see the relationships between people as well in these more participatory kind of methods. So this combination of methods is quite important together, because you can do what we call a kind of triangulation between them. Here we go in depth in conversations and explorations about the historic place. So what we gain is a much more in-depth understanding of the complexity and of the context in which the values people attach to this place have been generated.
Our research showed the importance of using a combination of methods, online and offline, to understand different values assigned to urban environments.
If we understand the complexities of the meanings and also the diversity of the meanings and values associated with these places, then it will help the people who make decisions about urban development to understand the values better and to make more meaningful and informed decisions about the development of these places.